Hello children, today we will do Act 2, Scene 6. This is the masquerade scene in which Jessica elopes with Lorenzo. Jessica, disguised as a page, appears on the balcony. She is ashamed both of her thievery, that is, she is running away from her father's house with Lorenzo, and at the same time she is carrying away a lot of gold, jewels and money with her. So she is ashamed of doing such a thing in her father's absence, and at the same time she is ashamed of her boy's disguise also. So finally she elopes with Lorenzo, and at the end of the scene Antonio informs that there will be no mask procession and that Bassanio will leave for Belmont before the scheduled hour due to a change in the winds. Now I'll start with the explanation. Now this scene 6 is taking place before Shylock's house in Venice. Enter Graciano and Salarino masked, that is, they are in disguise. They have either painted their faces or they have put on masks in order to take part in the procession. Graciano, this is the penthouse under which Lorenzo desired us to make stand. So they were all standing under the porch of Shylock's house, and Graciano said that this was the place, that is, the porch was the place under which Lorenzo had told them to wait for him. Salarino, his hour is almost past. So Salarino says that Lorenzo is very late. His time of arrival is already over. He is so late. Graciano, and it is marvel he outdwells his hour, for lovers ever run before the clock. And Graciano is surprised that Lorenzo is so late, because lovers are considered to be always before time. So here Lorenzo was supposed to take away Jessica, so he should have been on time, but here it was surprising that he was so late. Salarino, oh, 10 times faster Venus's pigeons fly to seal love's bonds new made than they are wont to keep obliged faith unforfeited. Now here Salarino just gives an example and says that Venus's pigeons, Venus is the goddess of love, and she used to ride on a chariot driven by doves. So Salarino says that Venus's pigeons, that is doves, used to fly 10 times faster when they were going to seal lovers' promises which were newly made. Than they are wont. Wont here means used to. Than they are used to keep obliged faith unforfeited. That is, than they are used to keep their old marriage promises unbroken. So when they are going to seal a newborn promises, they fly 10 times faster. But after that, they are not that eager to do anything. Graciano, that ever holds. So Graciano also agrees, and he says that it is always true. Ever holds means always true. Who riseth from a feast with that keen appetite that he sits down. Now here Graciano also gives some examples in order to prove that things take place energetically in the beginning, but later on that energy and spirit is not shown. So here he gives the example of who riseth from a feast, that is, who gets up from a meal with that keen appetite, with that same hunger with which he had sat down. That is, nobody will get up from a meal hungry. He will satisfy himself and then only get up. Where is the horse that doth untread again his tedious measures with the unbaited fire that he did pace them first. And then he gives another example of a horse that doth untread again. That is, where is that horse that comes back his tedious measures? Tedious measures means his boring steps with the unbated fire. Unbated fire means with the same undiminished energy with which he did pace them first, with which he walked at first. That is, a horse, when it is going to its destination, it gallops or it trots with full energy. But when it comes back, then that same energy is not shown by the horse. All things that are with more spirit chased than enjoyed. And here Graciano says that all things that are, here are means exist, that all things that exist are with more spirit, that is with more energy, chased than enjoyed. Chased than enjoyed means when you are after something, when you want to achieve something, then you show more energy. But when you have achieved or attained that thing, then you don't enjoy that much. How like a yonker or a prodigal, the scarfed bark puts from her native bay, hugged and embraced by the wanton wind. Now here Graciano again gives an example of a ship, and he compares the ship to a yonker or a prodigal. Yonker is a young man and prodigal means a spendthrift, someone who spends his money lavishly. And here he gives the example of the prodigal son from the Bible, who took all his property, all his money, all his share of property and money from his father, and he goes away from his father's house. Then he spends all his money lavishly, he has a nice time and all, and one day all his money is finished. And then he comes back to, he realizes his mistake and he comes back to his father's house. And when he comes back, then he is in a very bad condition. He has become thinner and his clothes are torn and he is in a very bad condition. So here Graciano has compared a ship to that prodigal son. The scarfed bark means the beautifully decorated ship puts from her native bay. Puts means sails out from her native bay. Native bay means from the harbor or the port. So a beautifully decorated ship sails out from the harbor. But at sea, what happens? She is hugged and embraced by the wanton wind. She is hugged and embraced means she is tossed about. She has to face the wanton wind, that is the rough, the uncontrolled wind. The ship has to face a storm. How like a prodigal doth she return with over-weathered ribs and ragged sails. And just like the prodigal son returns, in the same way the ship also returns with over-weathered ribs. Over-weathered ribs means with the sides of the ship all broken in the storm, and ragged sails, that is all the sails of the ship are also torn. Lean, rent and beggared by the wanton wind. So just as the prodigal son returned lean, that is thin, rent, that is torn, and beggared, that is in a poor condition, in the same way the ship also returns to the harbor because of the strong uncontrolled wind. Salarino. Here comes Lorenzo, more of this hereafter. And at that moment Lorenzo comes, and so Salarino says that they will talk about all that hereafter, that is later on. Enter Lorenzo. Lorenzo, sweet friends, your patience for my long abode. So Lorenzo comes and he thanks his friends. He thanks them for their patience for the long abode, that is waiting for so long. Not I, but my affairs have made you wait. And then he says that it is not because of him, but because of his affairs, that is, because of some business, some work, that they have been made to wait. When you shall please to play the thieves for wives, I'll watch as long for you then. And then Lorenzo promises them that when they will also be going to play the thieves for wives means when they will also be going to steal or take away their wives, then he will also watch as long. Watch means wait as long as they have done for him. Approach, come. So he tells them to come. Here dwells my father, Jew. That is his father-in-law. He tells that this is Shylock's house. Ho, who's within? And then he calls out and asks who is there inside. Enter Jessica above in boy's clothes. And then at that moment, Jessica comes out onto the balcony. And she is disguised as a boy. She is wearing the dress of a boy. Jessica, who are you? Tell me for more certainty, albeit I'll swear that I do know your tongue. So Jessica just asks who it was, and she says, tell me for more certainty, because they were all standing under the penthouse. They were standing under the porch of Shylock's house. So Jessica could not see who all were there from the balcony. So she tells them that to be more certain, just tell her who all there were. Albeit means although she swears that she know your tongue. She recognized the voice. That is, Jessica says just for certainty she wanted to know, but she has already recognized the voice of Lorenzo. Lorenzo and thy love. So Lorenzo says that it is Lorenzo, her love. Jessica, Lorenzo certain and my love indeed, for who love I so much. So Jessica is happy and she says that it is certainly Lorenzo and her love, because who else is there whom she loves so much? And now who knows but you, Lorenzo, whether I am yours? And Jessica says, and then now there is nobody else who knows except Lorenzo. But you, Lorenzo, means that except Lorenzo, that Jessica now belongs to him only. Lorenzo, heaven and thy thoughts are witness that thou art. So Lorenzo says that heaven and thy thoughts. Heaven means that God and thy thoughts, that is your love, are witness. They only know that thou art, that Jessica now belongs to Lorenzo. Jessica, here catch this casket. And she lowers a casket and tells Lorenzo to catch the casket. It is worth the pains. And she says that it has worth the pains means efforts. Pains here means effort. So she says that it has taken her a lot of effort to collect all the things in the casket. I am glad this night you do not look on me, for I am much ashamed of my exchange. And she says that she is glad, she is happy that it is night, it is dark at that time, and you do not look on me, and that Lorenzo could not see her clearly because she was ashamed of my exchange. That is because of her exchange, that is disguise. She has disguised as a boy and she was ashamed of the way she was dressed. So she was happy that Lorenzo could not see her clearly. But love is blind and lovers cannot see the pretty follies that themselves commit. And she says that love is blind, and so lovers don't see the pretty follies, that is the small mistakes that they themselves commit. For if they could, Cupid himself would blush to see me thus transformed to a boy. And if they could, that is if lovers could see the mistakes of each other, then Cupid himself, Cupid is the god of love. He himself would blush, would be embarrassed to see Jessica transformed into a boy, disguised as a boy. Lorenzo, descend, for you must be my torchbearer. So finally, Lorenzo tells Jessica to come down because she must be the torchbearer of the procession. Jessica, what? Must I hold a candle to my shames? Now, here Jessica is totally surprised when she hears that she is going to be the torchbearer, and she says that must I hold a candle? That is, was she going to hold a torch to my shames to and reveal her shameful dress in front of everybody? That means walking with a torch was right in front of the procession, and that would reveal her in front of everyone. So she was totally surprised. They in themselves good sooth are too light, and Jessica says that they, that is her dress, were in good sooth, that is they were indeed too light, that is her dress was very light and revealing. So she was ashamed. Why, it is an office of discovery, love. So she says that an office of discovery means that walking with a torch in front of the procession was something that would reveal her, will expose her to everybody. And I should be obscured, and in reality she should be obscured. Obscured means concealed or hidden, because she was going to run away with Lorenzo. So she was quite surprised. Lorenzo, so are you sweet. So Lorenzo says, so are you. That is, you are hidden, you are concealed, disguised. Even in the lovely garnish of a boy, even in the lovely garnish, that is, in the lovely costume, dress of a boy. But come at once, for the close night doth play the run away. But come immediately, at once, because the night which hid them was passing away. They had to run away in the darkness. And we are stayed for at Bassanio's feast. And then he says that besides running away, they were also being waited for at Bassanio's feast. They had to go back to the party. Jessica, I will make fast the doors and gild myself with some more ducats and be with you straight. So Jessica says that I will make fast, that is she will lock the doors and then gild myself, that is then bring some more ducats. She wanted to carry away some more ducats and then come down at once. Exit above. So she goes inside the house. Graciano, now by my hood a Gentile and no Jew. So now here Graciano, he swears by the hood that he was wearing. And he says that by my hood, that is by my word, a Gentile, that is now Jessica has changed into a gentle lady and no Jew, and she was no more a Jew, because now she was going to marry Lorenzo and she will turn into a Christian. Lorenzo, beshrew me, but I love her heartily. Beshrew me means curse me, but. Here but means if not, I love her heartily. That is, he says that curse me if he curse him if he doesn't love Jessica with his whole heart. For she is wise if I can judge of her. And what are the reasons why Lorenzo loves Jessica so much? Because she is wise, as he can, if he can judge of her, that is, if he can judge correctly. And fair she is, if that mine eyes be true. And fair here means beautiful. That is, she was beautiful also if what his eyes saw was true. And true she is, as she had proved herself. And here true means faithful. That Jessica has been faithful and she has proved it also. That is, she was now leaving her father's house and she was ready to run away with Lorenzo, which proved her faithfulness towards Lorenzo. And therefore, like herself, wise, fair, and true, shall she be placed in my constant soul. And then Lorenzo says that because she is wise, fair, and true, mark the three qualities mentioned here, wise, fair, and true, she shall always be placed in Lorenzo's heart. She will always be there in his heart forever. Enter Jessica below. Now Jessica comes down. What art thou come? On, gentlemen, away. So when she comes, Lorenzo says that come, gentlemen, we have to go away. Masking mates by this time for us to stay. Masking mates here means there were other companions of theirs also who were waiting for them to take part in the procession. Exit with Jessica and Salarino. So Lorenzo goes away with Jessica and Salarino to join the others. Enter Antonio, and at that moment Antonio enters the scene. Antonio, who's there? Graciano, Signor Antonio. So Antonio just asks who is there, and Graciano says Signor Antonio. Antonio, fie, Graciano. Then Antonio just scolds Graciano and says that it is a shame, Graciano. Where are all the rest? Where are all the others? 'Tis 9 o'clock. Our friends all stay for you. And it is 9 o'clock. And all their friends were, stay for you means all their friends were waiting for them. No mask tonight. And then Antonio gives the news that there is not going to be any mask that night. The wind is come about. And what is the reason? Because the wind is come about means that the wind has changed direction and it was favorable to sail. Bassanio presently will go aboard, and that is why Bassanio had decided that he will sail on his ship that night itself. So he was going to Belmont to meet Portia. I have sent 20 out to seek for you. And Antonio says that he had sent 20 men out to search for them. Graciano, I am glad on it. And Graciano here expresses that he is happy that now they were going to sail. I desire no more delight than to be under sail and gone tonight. And he says that he desires no more delight. That is, he will not be more happy than to be under sail, than to go with Bassanio to Belmont. And that too tonight, that is that night itself. So Graciano is happy because Bassanio had agreed to take him at his request. Graciano had earlier requested Bassanio to take him also to Belmont when he goes, and so he was happy that he was going to Belmont with Bassanio. Exeunt. So he also leaves. So this is the end of scene 6, children. In the next video I'll be explaining scene 7. Revise this scene, go through the explanation carefully, make all the important notes and write down the meanings, and do the extracts in your workbook.